Good afternoon. Small Biz David here, and it is the 6th of February already, approaching 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. I wanted to share with you what has happened in the community today, at davidsbarter.com, some of the discussions that we've had today. We've been on YouTube. We did our Facebook YouTube, our LinkedIn YouTube, our Twitter YouTube, and here we are at davidsbarter.com/smallbizdavid. Uh, actually, my landing page. I'm surprised I don't have it on the screen here. This is our community bulletin board. This page. At the community bulletin board every day is where we post at least three questions, sometimes four, sometimes five, depending upon what's actually happening. And then we do a video. We have the question, and you can click on and find a short answer, and also a video response. I have found it a fascinating um, concept when some of the authors that I read, when they actually read from their books as opposed to me reading their books. I think I get a much different uh, perspective on it in that I hear the feeling behind the words and not just try to read the words and try to figure out what the feeling might be. So, uh, 4 years ago, I published a book. I wrote and published a book. How do you answer these 749 questions about your small business? And when I wrote the, when I by design, I made the book a workbook where there was white space in between all the 749 questions, and then you would take notes about which questions you felt were pertinent to your business and something that you wanted to get more information on, so you could make notes. It was designed as a workbook, and we distributed the book very, very heavily initially to college entrepreneurship departments, to high school students. There were DECA students that got copies of the book. There were junior achievement students, I think, got copies of the book. A local high school here in Cincinnati, where I live, and then even grade school. I even distributed some books to grade school because I wanted to get folks uh, interested and excited about really taking a look at what they were doing with their business. I've spent 40 years as a small business owner. This is my 40th year, as a matter of fact, and I am very excited to say that the davidsbarter.com community, which we started building and developing about 100 weeks ago, literally 100 weeks ago. It's the most exciting thing that I've done in my 40 years, no question about it. Um, I am amazed that as I get, well, what's happened since I wrote the book 4 years ago. Uh, there's been a very hour by hour kind of development in the technology of the communities where we spend most of our time if we are online, our online communities. And needless to say, the community that has captured the imagination of more people, 800 and almost 850 million profiles of folks around the world, and more than half of those folks spend up to 3 hours a day. That I might be way off. Uh, and that's the amazing thing about Facebook is how much time people actually spend there. And at any rate, it's about the technology and how we communicate with those folks with whom we want to communicate. And the marketing hasn't changed. Uh, I've been marketing and sales and customer care for 40 years, and the basic concepts haven't changed at all. Interestingly, as we get more effective with our technology, sometimes we lose sight of some of the basic concepts that existed before we allowed technology to run our lives. If you are an online type person, so much of the world is online right now. So that appears the place to be. And so as we developed the concept and wrote the book, and then uh, the main question, the main criticism that I got about the book was that, David, we want to know the answers to the questions, not just the questions are great and it made us think, and we like that part. We want to know the answers. So it was, as I started to hear that more and more, I was trying to figure out the best way to accomplish that. And I figured it was not to write another book, although from the time I sat down, excuse me, to organize this book until I was actually holding a printed copy in my hand. A friend of mine in Columbus, Ohio, and Zanesville, Ohio, printed the book for me, and he put the spiral binding on it. It was 100 days from literally from the time I went home to actually organize my thoughts finally, because a friend of mine said, David, you need to go home and write a book. And so I literally went home that day and started to put a book together. And it was a wonderful experience. It's the most one of the obviously one of the most valuable experiences of my life. And doing it in 100 days, it was just a real. All my energies were basically devoted to putting it together. Well, as people were saying, we need answers to the questions. I was looking for the best way to do it, and I looked at it, technology, and it wasn't too long after that I found a web community called Stickam.com, Stickam.com, and uh, well, I started on a Thanksgiving Saturday 3 years ago. Excuse me, 3 years ago, I started. I started on the journey, the technology journey, and I was live streaming. The very first uh, live stream came from my mother's kitchen, 250 miles away. And a little over 3 years later, we've had over 2 million page views. And first, I want to thank if you had, if you are one of those folks who originally found out about what we were doing at Stickam.com. Thank you for continuing the journey with us. Technology has really totally changed my life. it is, um, in a sense, it's not as challenging to start a business today as it was when I started my first business. Well, I didn't start my first business right away. I bought my first business when I was 24. Um, we look to the online community and how it really is a more efficient way to operate. There's no question about that. And so if that's where people are, that's where they are spending their time. If you want to grow your business or start a business, you've got to figure how to do it online where the people are, as opposed to maybe buying a newspaper ad or a television ad. Not that they don't work; they certainly still work for the people who use that, or they wouldn't be using the medium. Uh, that's that's pretty common sense, but it doesn't work for everybody the same way, and that's the challenge. That's the challenge that you have to discover for yourself. What's going to work best for you, and what works for you is doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the next person. It doesn't have to if it works for you. My business model of the last 40 years has been very different, but it works for me, or I wouldn't still be doing it. I like to share that about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, in a conversation I was having with my mother, she said, "Well, David, what is it?" She doesn't call me Small Biz David. She said, "David, what is it that you do? My friends will ask me, what is it that you do, and I don't know what to tell them." Uh, and my quick response is, "Well, Mom, I've had folks who've known me most of my life, or 5 years, or 10, whatever, and they probably couldn't give you a good answer of what it is that I do. So just tell your friends that I've been doing it for 40 years and I'm still doing it. So that's uh, that's really all that matters." Well, as we move forward, and I've had a really enjoyable experience moving forward with things, and a quick uh, understanding of how things are how we communicate with one another today. There's no question that we're on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, Stickham.com, YouTube. Uh, we try to find the best, most efficient way to communicate with whomever it is that we want to communicate. And what we've done at davidsbarter.com, the things that work for us, have worked for us, are producing the desired objectives for us. We just want to share that with you and make it available to you. And we know a lot about optimization. One of the things I'm going to talk about tomorrow is, well, people have been asking me as they hear the concept, because our community is not a website. We are a community of landing pages. And the, uh, the landing pages are highly optimized landing pages. That's what we do. We know how to optimize a landing page, both with the printed matter. And I actually, just 5 minutes ago, I took the media player off of this landing page. This is my landing page. I took it off, and uh, I am going to use this YouTube, and it will be showing here uh, 10 minutes after I've finished. And that's the exciting thing to be able to have those kind of tools available to you. We didn't have those kind of tools 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. It's just it's an amazing thing, and so we want to just share as you start a business, and we need more businesses started now than ever before. Um, I'm going to end this and start again.